Greetings, sisters and brothers. Today is March 1, 2025. March 1, 1896. That was a great day. Historic. African heroism, Pan-African heroism. That is why March 1 is a year that more Africans, more Pan-African people all over the world need to know about. What happened on that day? That was during the scramble for Africa, when European powers were seizing territory all over the continent. And King Umberto of Italy sent General Oreste Baratieri and 4 other generals to capture Ethiopia, to make Ethiopia its colony. March 1, 1896 was the Battle of Adwa, which I produced this book, Adwa, Empress Taitu and Emperor Menelik in Love and War. Because to me, I think that is one of the greatest days in African history in terms of resistance against imperialism, colonialism, and white supremacy. And that's why more people need to observe that day every year on March 1, 1896. Okay, there are contradictions. Menelik was not exactly some democratic ruler. He was a feudalist. Some people have said he was an enslaver, a colonizer as well. But when we look at the confrontation between Africa and Europe, we cannot ignore this as a great day in the annals of the history of European imperialism and colonialism in Africa. So Oreste Baratieri had promised King Umberto that he was going to come back with Menelik and Empress Taitu in a cage to display them in the zoo in Rome, in Italy. But what happened when they got to the battleground? The battle lasted less than 6 hours. The Ethiopians annihilated the Italian army. The Ethiopians killed 2 generals, General Dabormida and General Arimondi were killed. 1 general was captured. Oreste Baratieri himself, who had promised to come back with Menelik in a cage, fled from the battleground. So in addition to Menelik, in addition to Empress Taitu herself, who was also on the front line, there was Ras Mangesha, Ras Alula, who is reputed to have been one of the greatest generals ever produced by Ethiopia. Tekle Haimanot, Ras Mikael, Ras Makonnen, Sebat, Ras Wele, Balcha, and many others who fought in this battle. At the end of the day, about 4,000 Italian soldiers were killed. About 2,000 Eritreans. At that time, Eritrea had been colonized by Italy, so they forced Eritreans to also fight on their side. About 3,000 Italian soldiers were captured and marched back to Addis Ababa, the city which was named by Empress Taitu herself. And the tables were turned. Now they got to taste how it felt to work as enslaved labor, supervised under the instruction of Africans, helping to build the city and do repairs in Addis Ababa. And they were in captivity until the following October, when Italy was forced to pay reparations by Ethiopia before those prisoners were released. That is why Ethiopia was the only African country that was successful in pushing back European colonialism by decisively defeating the Italian army at the Battle of Adwa. My book, as I said, Adwa, Empress Taitu and Emperor Menelik in Love and War. This is a book that actually I produced 3 years ago via a successful Kickstarter campaign. I'm very thankful for the people that supported me to put out this book, which is also available on Amazon. But once again, more and more Africans need to know this type of African history. Pan-African people globally need to know this type of African history. It was so decisive, and it rejected and repudiated white supremacy, so much so that some European newspapers said, oh, well, this wasn't a victory of an African army or nation over Europeans. They said Ethiopians were actually Europeans, and that's why they were able to defeat Italy. So thank you. Commemorate this day from now on, March 1, every year, March 1, to commemorate March 1, 1896. Thank you, sisters and brothers.